let's talk about Liverpool. Frimpong, now at the club, 29.5 million just seems rather cheap in today's crazy market, especially when Bayer Leverkusen, there's a lot of money Liverpool have to spend. I'm surprised. Obviously, that was the deal. It's happened. He's now been unveiled. Looks like they're going to be happy with that one, Liverpool.
Yeah, of course.
Very happy.
Of course, because not only is it replacing Trent Alexander-Arnold, not only is it bringing in an excellent player, but it's getting the business done early.
Yeah.
Like Liverpool they're doing what champions should do. They're strengthening when they're strong. Yeah. They're the best team in the country, and they've already signed, probably, if this Florian Wirtz deal goes ahead, they've already probably made the signing of the summer. The best footballer,
most significant one.
The best footballer that will move this summer has already moved to Liverpool. I don't think there'll be a bigger player to move.
Bundesliga Player of the Year twice, back to back. Most recent as well.
I know, and look, Frimpong, he's a different version. He's a different way of playing in that right back position.
Very attacking,
incredibly exciting, and it's clearly what Liverpool. Now, I think you could argue that Liverpool needed a refreshing of ideas, whether Trent Alexander-Arnold stayed or not. Agreed. I think that the back line has looked slightly shaky. I think Andy Robertson most certainly needs help over the other side. So an elevation of that back line, even with Trent Alexander-Arnold staying, would be something to be proud of.
Yeah.
But to get it done this early, Liverpool really are clearly doing their best to set themselves up to retain the league.
Yeah, I think they've seen a window there and thought, okay, look, Chelsea will get better, but it's still going to take time, right? I think that's fair. We don't know what Arsenal are going to do. Arsenal seem to wobble in the moments. Man City will be Man City. But I think Liverpool are looking at it thinking, well, we could go back to back here. There's an opportunity. And obviously, in order for Salah and Van Dijk to have stayed at the club, they would have had conversations with the owners because they're of that stature, and with the manager, and said, okay, what are you bringing in? Who's coming into the club? And all of a sudden, I think we're starting to see that. Florian Wirtz looks like it's going to be announced in a couple of days. That's a statement signing.
Yeah, well, like I said, I believe that you won't see a better footballer move this summer. There won't be a bigger signing. These things don't always work. But what Liverpool are doing here is they're going out and they're making a statement and they're signing the best in class. Yeah. So the best player that is available this summer to improve their midfield, to give Arne Slot a different dimension, a different option, to possibly replace the one of the three that I believe to be the weakest is probably Dominic Szoboszlai.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think that this is brilliant. And if you follow through on all of this, if it becomes Frimpong plus Kirkes at left back, plus Florian Wirtz in the middle, all of a sudden you're looking at Liverpool and you're going, it's going to take something very special to stop them retaining the league.
And by the way, the average age of those lot, I think, is 22.
Yeah.
It's a young lot. Do you know what I mean? It's legs, isn't it? It's legs.
It's going to be interesting as well because if all of that happens, you're going to be spending well in excess of
200 million.
Yeah, you're talking nearly 200 million quid. But Liverpool could still end up almost breaking even.
Agreed.
Because there's a lot of players that could leave Liverpool for big money.
Yeah.
Darwin Núñez is obviously worth a lot of money.
Luis Diaz,
potentially they're talking about leaving.
Talking about to Saudi as well.
Jota,
maybe.
I could see Jota moving on. Cody Gakpo's been linked.
I hope not.
No, I agree with you. Not. But I also think that Liverpool are going to adopt a policy now, don't you, where it's run by FSG. You haven't got a benefactor. They're called the Fenway Sports Group. They want to make a profit. They want to make money out of the game. And I don't think that, with the exception of the obvious, so Mohamed Salah is the obvious here, Virgil van Dijk is the obvious here, but I would say that every player at Liverpool
is up for sale,
could potentially be moved on as they look to keep the revolving door moving and look to elevate the squad constantly.
One thing, I saw a sit down Arne Slot did with Vicky Gomersall, good Sky Sports sit down, and he did say, like, they ran out of legs towards the end because he used, it was up to him, right, but he used the same 13.
Yeah.
So he said he wants a bigger squad.
Makes sense.
So I do wonder if, as much as we're saying all these people are going to leave the club, I do wonder if he's thinking, no, I do need a lot of players to stay.
Yeah, I think so.
Harvey Elliott's been one that's been linked with a move away because he doesn't play a lot. He's got to stay. Curtis Jones has to stay. These type of players.
I don't think Harvey Elliott does have to stay. I don't think anybody has to stay apart from the obvious players that we already mentioned. But equally, I got the impression from Harvey Elliott. Did you see his approach? It
seemed as though he's leaving,
waving goodbye.
It almost seemed goodbye.
I also just don't think. I mean, I think Harvey Elliott. I think Harvey Elliott's a lovely little footballer. Don't get me wrong here. I think he's a brilliant player. I really do. But for Liverpool to be who they want to be, I don't think Harvey Elliott is really good enough for them. I don't
think everyone in the squad can be 8 or 9 out of 10. I just don't think it's possible in today's football. I think the money spent on starting 11s now if you've got players off the bench that give you 5 and 6 out of 10, I think you keep them off the bench.
Is Harvey Elliott? Think about this, like, truthfully now, without the love and the attachment that you have for Harvey Elliott, because obviously you have a bias with him being a Liverpool player. If you think about what Liverpool are trying to do, if you think about who Liverpool are trying to be, look at the way that Arne Slot wants his team to play. Does Harvey Elliott have the actual ability to play a key part of that team? I don't think he does. Is he fast enough to be part of this effusive forward line? Probably not. Yeah. Is he good enough on the ball, really, to be part of this team?
I think he's good enough to be a squad player for Liverpool, whereas he wants to start.
Yeah,
and ultimately, there's a problem.
But I think that this is the truth about Endo as well. Like, I think Endo's been a great player for Liverpool, but realistically, he's not a good enough footballer to be part of this Liverpool team. He's not good enough on the ball, which is why I believe Curtis Jones can have a significant part to play. Yeah. Because whatever you think of his deficiencies, whatever you think about Curtis Jones as a player overall, what Curtis Jones does have to an absolute elite level, non-negotiably, on the ball. Looks after the ball, protects the ball, keeps the ball moving, recycles it.
Doesn't score enough for me, but he does play deep, doesn't he, quite a bit. But I do feel like there's goals in him. One thing I think, are going to speak about going forward with this new Liverpool side is, as you mentioned, Frimpong's more of a wing-back. Wirtz is as a 10, and Liverpool don't really have a natural number 10. McAllister's tried it, didn't really work. Szoboszlai's tried it, didn't really work. I feel like we're going to see a different style of football here. I feel like he just adopted Klopp's team and thought, okay, I'm not going to change too much here because that's the team. I think we might see a completely different Arne Slot side come the summer.
I think that's true to a degree, but I don't think it tells the whole story. I think that Arne Slot certainly put his own spin on Jurgen Klopp's team. It was Arne Slot's team. It wasn't the blitzkrieg football that Jurgen Klopp adopted. It certainly wasn't. Like, it was, when Jurgen Klopp spoke about football, he spoke about heavy metal football. Yeah. Arne Slot's wasn't that. It might have been heavy metal football, but it was certainly to the tune of Dutch control. It was measured. It was more precise. It wasn't hectic.
But was that because he didn't have the players for it to be hectic?
I don't think he wanted to be hectic.
Because all of a sudden now, with Wirtz and Frimpong and Kerkez, he's got legs. You watch them. You watch Kerkez for Bournemouth. He's up and down literally every time. Frimpong the same, and Wirtz is busy, isn't he? McAllister's not that. Szoboszlai's not that. And nor is Trent, and nor is Andy Robertson. I just wonder, now he's got his players, maybe it does go a bit more heavy metal than we think.
Yeah, potentially, because it wasn't heavy metal at all. It was R&B. It was Brandy and Monica, wasn't it? It was Brandy and Monica. It was those timeless classics from the 90s. It was like a tempo that was very particular to Arne Slot. They didn't make mistakes. They didn't want it to be a gung-ho atmosphere, and it was measured. It was Dutch control. It was the typical essence of Dutch football, I thought. And it worked. It worked really well. Maybe what he wants to add to that is a splash of colour. Yeah. Maybe he likes the idea of having a player, particularly like Frimpong, who is going to totally surprise everyone. And can you imagine being a left-back playing against Liverpool at Anfield with Mohamed Salah and Jeremie Frimpong charging at you?
It's difficult.
I mean, where do you start?
Yeah,
how do you stop that?
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. You know what else is interesting? This Trent situation. Obviously, now he's gone. Right, he's very quickly, by the way, on his Instagram changed. How quick did he do that, by the way? Yeah. It's gone from Liverpool to Real Madrid. Look, he's a Real Madrid player, but that literally was waiting, wasn't it? He was waiting to press the button.
Do you know who's an icon of this whole situation? It was the thing that I loved most about this entire saga. Who? Like, I don't think Trent Alexander-Arnold has behaved well. I don't think the Liverpool fans owe him anything, and I think that he has defamed his own legacy there. I really do. I know that I'm probably in the minority there, but I would actually see him as a Judas. Old news now, doesn't matter. Okay. But I loved Curtis Jones around this. Okay, Curtis Jones
proper Scouser, really.
Proper Scouser. There is nothing more Scouse than Curtis Jones. 100%. And it was amazing watching him on the bus,
didn't hold back, mocking
Trent Alexander-Arnold, suggesting that he was only crying for the cameras.
You know, those boys see it all, don't they, though? Let's be honest. I mean,
he knows.
We as fans, I mean, we're sort of given, a bit of what we can, 1% of it. He's in there. Behind the scenes,
he knows crying. Exactly, he knows when he's not crying when the cameras aren't there.
Yeah, so he sees all the interviews. He's probably thinking, what's he talking about?
That was amazing. To anyone that hasn't seen this, it really was a tremendous.
It's a Salah.
So what happened was, on the bus, Trent Alexander-Arnold is making sure that everybody can see him crying. He's so upset to be leaving Liverpool. The club means so much to him. He's desperate not to leave, despite the fact that he engineered the move. Whatever. He's letting the world know how upset he is. Mohamed Salah, out of the kindness, comforts him. Trent Alexander-Arnold gives Mohamed Salah a slight elbow.
No, Curtis.
Curtis Jones gives Mohamed Salah an elbow and effectively goes, he's doing it for the cameras, and actually gesticulated cameras so that we could all see what was being said. He's done a few things, Curtis Jones, and you just think, He's worth his weight in gold.
No, he's a good boy. He's a good boy, Curtis Jones. I mean, again, proper understands sort of the city, understands the feelings of a lot of fans, and knows everything. Exactly. That's the most important thing, I think, the takeaway is that he knows absolutely everything that's going on.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.